Like to open a Water Commissioners meeting August 15th, 2022 at 7:07 PM. On July 16th, 2022, Governor Baker signed into law an act relative to extending certain state of emergency accommodations, which, among other things, extends the expiration of the provision pertaining to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2023. Specifically, this extension allows public bodies to continue to hold meetings remotely without a quorum of a public body physically present at the meeting location, and to provide adequate and alternative access to remote meetings. The access does not make any new changes to the open meeting law other than extending the expiration date of the temporary provisions regarding remote meetings from July 15th, 2022 to March 31st, 2023. I'd like to call the meeting to order and call a roll call. Todd Melanson, Chair, present.
Nathan Madala, Vice Chair, present via Zoom.
I have no additions, and I do have one addition. As we'll discuss later, I think we have to accept his resignation, but I would like to thank Chris Jones for 2 years of service. He kind of came in at probably the worst time anyone probably could come in when we were announcing PFAS, and he did his best to adjust. Just some difficult family stuff going on, and he needed to apply his attentions otherwhere. And so I, having dealt with him for 2 years, I just wanted to say thank you for his service. Nate, you got anything you want to? Oh, that's just me. Never mind. 1.5. Did you get a chance to look at the meeting minutes, Nate?
I just had everything open, but I closed the tab. So I'm getting back there right now.
Good enough.
Add that. My agenda's up on that screen.
It's a cool lamp behind you, by the way.
I don't know where that came from. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, we had company over. My aunt's staying with us. I'm gonna light a candle in case my house smells weird.
Was that leave the light on or something like that?
Well, who says that? We'll leave the light on.
Motel
Really?
6?
Ah, yes. All right. Okay, wait, are those the... I'm utterly confused here.
Would it be the meeting of July 11th? Should say it in
The
that
sky.
top. No, on the second line underneath.
Packet. There's our agenda.
Yeah, the other one, the other group should say packet. Meeting packet.
I have two different attachments that are the same thing. That's what's screwing me up. Okay. There we go.
You set?
I move Board of Water Commissioners accept the meeting minutes for the meeting of July 11th, 2022.
Second. You got any additions or changes to it, Nate?
Changes to the minutes?
Or accept?
As far as I can tell, this is a account
Yeah.
of what happened.
I agree. So the motion's been made and seconded. I'll take a roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madala, aye.
Minutes are approved. 6.1, review correspondence and take any public comments. So
1.6.
1.6.
I thought I said 1.6. What did I say?
6.1.
Dyslexia kicking in. So
It happens when you grow old.
too many hits to the head.
Easy, Dave.
I know.
So I would say, is that, all right, 6.1. The constant rusty water. This is in Maplewood, is inside Timberley Park.
Yes.
All right.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm looking at 1.6. I have this as a resignation letter.
That's one of them.
Oh, so that is, I'm sorry.
Okay. This is correspondence.
Yes.
My agenda.
No, you're right. It is marked 6.1. It's the letter from Kathy Spofford. I just assumed it was underneath the resignation.
No, it is. It is. You're not wrong. It was my fault. I'm just
No, it is marked 6.1 at the top though, Nate. So you're not wrong.
1 point. What?
It's marked 1.6. The correspondence for Kathy Spofford is marked 1.6. That's announcing Chris Jones's, this is the official announcement of
Right.
Chris Jones's resignation.
Oof.
So, Dave, do we, I don't think we need to do anything with this, do we?
Nope.
Beyond accept it. I mean, it's just
Right.
acknowledge it.
And you
Um,
could, then you could announce that the position is now open, if there's anybody listening.
We'll see in that there's only the 5 of us.
Well, someone could listen to the recording.
That's
Yep.
right.
We could, you're correct. Let's announce it. Dave, can we post that it's open?
Yeah, we can tell the town hall to post the opening.
Please, Nate, your opinion? I think that's the right thing to do, or I'm just not sure where it's an elected
So it was
position.
was this his last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So whereas it was his last year, but I'm finishing
Oh,
off.
he's got a year and a half.
Okay, so yeah, this
That's
is my
right.
last
All right.
year. I'm finishing off the last year of a
Year
term.
of Mike's, yeah.
And so yeah, I would post ASAP then.
All right.
And if need be,
Here's what you
I don't
can
know how
do.
the elections work.
If we post it, Nathan could apply for it if he wanted a year and a half. And then the other one would come due, then the other one would become open, and it would only be out for if Nathan wants to stay around.
For transparency's sake, I will accept if I'm written into a position generally, but
Well, it's not a vote, it's
not.
small. Yeah.
I won't be running for any elected positions in the near future.
Okay. I was just mentioned it.
Okay.
Just as an option.
Chess, or anyone that's familiar with this, where it's an elected position and we're posting for it, can it just be filled that way, or are we required to wait? Because we're not going to hold a special election, or the town isn't just for a Board of Water Commissioner. That's an expensive undertaking.
According to Robert's rules, everybody is in a position and they need to remain in that position until the term ends. The open position you can post for, but you can't switch from one position to another for the terms.
Okay. All right. So say we post an open vacancy.
Mm-hmm.
Do Nate and I choose them, or how does that? It's an elected
No,
position.
it's an elected position. It has to be an election.
That's what I thought. So
No,
If the board decides that you want to fill the position, you need to post it for 10 days.
Mhm.
And you can actually appoint somebody for that temporary period, even though that you are an elected board.
We can?
Yep.
That doesn't seem right.
till the next election.
Correct.
Yeah, that
So,
seems.
so the person would hold the spot until April, and then we would have an election, sort of like we did this term.
I can
Which
check
is-
with town council, but I'm pretty sure that's what you guys can appoint until, because even though it's an elected term, you as a board can pick somebody to fulfill that position until that next election.
All right.
I mean, if you think about it, if you had two people that were, like-minded with an agenda and they wanted to elect, well, I guess that wouldn't matter because it's.
It's only until April, but it's still, I don't, you and I are pretty good about attending. Where are we right now? August, we got September, October, November, December, January,
8 months.
8 months. You think you and I can hold the fort for 8 months, Nate?
I think we can.
I do
I'd
too.
like to know what the fellow water takers and townspeople would like.
Well, why don't we post it and see what happens?
Yeah.
All right.
If no one shows up, no one shows up.
Yeah, you technically you have to post an open position for 10 days anyway. So it does,
Right.
I think that's
We didn't get any takers. We posted it when Mike resigned, and we didn't get anybody. So
Where
All right.
it needs to be posted. Is there in public on the board, or we got to pay for a paper posting?
No.
You post it in the
Just-
bulletin.
we'll do it on the board, and it will be on the town website too.
will you just
Then-
take the posting and give it to the town clerk and she'll do the rest of it.
Okay.
Can we also share it on the water department's Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll share it to the groups?
And then if you have them give it to the webmaster, he can put it on the town site too.
All right. So, Dave, could you take care of that tomorrow, please?
Yep.
All right. 2.1, 710. Jerry Casey, 46 Ash Street, water issues. Is he in the meeting room or waiting to come online or anything?
I don't see him here, but I just saw Andrea's here, Wood, so I'm gonna let her in. But
Okay.
I don't know, did we finish all the correspondence from 1.6?
Yeah, I
Can
think so.
Can I ask?
Except for the one for Maple that I had started. Go ahead, Nate. What's up?
Oh, there was
This-
a nice, did you guys see the nice one from the guy from me?
Yes, I did. I got
Okay,
to.
good, all right. I'm gonna let Andrea in, just so you're aware.
All right.
But the guy from Ash Street is not here, so
Okay.
So this correspondence was received how? As written? This is the written note that you received?
me?
Dave,
It was a
No.
phone.
it was a phone call?
Yep.
So someone took the message down from him.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm wondering if that's the guy that came today.
It could be. I don't know. You would know better than I.
45 minutes at the office.
So
So this may be someone that, doesn't or isn't, in tune to social media or doesn't know what's going on.
He said
But
he's
this-
not media savvy. He doesn't do Facebook.
Fine.
well, what
Yeah,
about
right.
the?
So there are people, we have a group of people in the town that won't get information. So I'm assuming that this is directly due to how the system is configured currently, having a well
Mhm.
site down. And
But I mean, we've been before the selectmen. We've actually had an open meeting trying to explain all this going back a year and a half now. So listen, I do the same thing in Chelmsford. We try and get out the word as best you can. We even used the reverse 911, and we still have people that you just don't pick up on what's happening locally until it affects them directly in some sort of way.
I don't
Russ-
know. So it's not an issue.
No,
Yeah.
and
Talk to him. It's not a big deal. It's just part of what happens. And I got to be sympathetic because it's a pretty crappy hand to be dealt. And having discolored water on and off constantly is a horrible thing. And it just, what are you gonna, everything that could be done was, and everything that can be done is in the planning. And I just lay it out to people and be honest with them. And most of the people 90% of the people understand it. They may not be exactly happy with it, but they understand it.
No, and I think I've found that to be the case a lot of times, the one-on-one. It's hugely, yes, Nate, go right ahead.
I just want to, I don't know. So have you contacted this person and filled them in? I know you're busy and that if you had 100 of these, it might take you a significant portion of your day
Just
But-
4 hours, just 4 or 5 hours today. That's all.
of calling people.
Talking to people on the phone or in person. Yes,
So this is one of the person you were able to fill them in or leave a
I
message?
believe Jerry is the person that I talked to today.
Okay. All right. Good.
So we are trying to communicate, the rusty water, although it's an issue, it's not a health issue, it's an aesthetic. It doesn't make the problem any less but I just, I see down here what about the testing and stuff like that. And actually it's on the EA portal. The DEP has a portal with all the data on it. Also, if we had failed anything that was health related, we would be hearing from DEP and have to do a public notice on it. I will mention one other correspondence, 6.1, on a letter dated July 19th from do you have it in front of you, Nate? Because I can't say that last name.
I'll give it a shot. Quintanelli.
That's better than what I would have said. Thank you very much, sir.
Hill.
You just,
Annie.
I'll go with it.
Quintanelli.
He had a very nice letter. He's 51 Ash Street. Brenda did a very good job. I'll extend, this is really, really nice to hear about Brenda. But I'll extend it to the rest of the staff as well, not in this letter, but everything I've heard from everybody is the staff has been professional and helpful and what we would want in a staff. And so under trying times, it's nice to see a letter like that, and congratulations to Brenda on that. All right. Reviewed digs 3.1, review dig safe procedures. Dave, I didn't see that in the packet.
No, because I'm
All right.
swamped.
All right, so we will continue that to the next meeting.
Right.
Discuss interest refund of 75 cents to account number 5280. I saw that. What did I do with it?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
point of
sir.
order.
Yeah.
We still have a little more correspondence that I'm actually reading through now from Eric Slagle
Oh,
regarding
Jeez.
fees.
you're right. You're right. Nope, you are right. 6.1. See, I thought this was an. I apologize.
1.6.
Thank you. I keep saying that. It's been a really long day, Nate.
It's okay. Just laugh it off. Laugh it off.
Ah, Jesus.
We understand.
Someone actually described it as Todd speak one time.
Oh dear.
Yeah, in a public meeting.
So we have done this.
We've already done this, yeah.
We did this
I-
about 3-4 years ago. But it
And
might be
we-
worth looking at again. Dave, I'm sorry if I may, Mr. Chairman.
We did this over the winter,
We
Okay,
did
so
it
you
last
did it
winter.
recently. Oh,
Yes.
excellent. Excellent.
but this
Yeah.
doesn't to us. This pertains to every department.
Right.
Who
So
is
this-
Eric?
He's the new town administrator.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Dave, did you respond and let him know that the board has already done this?
No.
Could
It's
you?
just, I usually wait to the monthly meetings.
All right. Well, this went out this came out July 20th. It might behoove you not, when's your next monthly meeting?
It should be soon. But
You know what?
I got
This,
I give them an update anyways on the department before the meeting. So I'll
yeah, but
send
I know
out-
where this, when this came out the 20th of July, I think 2 or 3 weeks is if you could give them a heads up that our board has already done this.
I believe we did this in January, that we changed all the rates before we did the rate study.
Yeah, we did all the fees and services.
Right.
So, are you all set? Did I miss any other ones, Nate?
No, it looks good.
All right, thank you. Thank you for catching that, Nate. See. 3.2, review and discuss interest fund of 75 cents per account number.
Mr. Melanson, did we, I'm
Yes.
sorry, did we delete 2.1?
Yeah, because he isn't here. He's not in the waiting room. I was just going
Well, can
over
we-
if he shows up, I was going to just allow him to do it. It just, he had an appointment for 7:10. He wasn't here, so I went over him figuring if he comes in, we'll get back to him when he comes in.
Can we just address the meeting item and then talk briefly about what it was concerning, just so I'm aware?
It's under
Okay.
3.
Oh, it's under 3.3. So, it's another one similar to the message we got in the correspondence about the discoloration water in Timberley Park.
Okay.
So he's got Ash Street is the main street on Timberley Park, and I'm assuming that Dave will update us on the water quality on Timberley Park on 3.3.
3.2, so we get to 3.3 and we'll get to this.
Perfect.
So 3.2, interest was applied after his
I'm
online.
sorry, Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yeah.
I'm still showing we have 3.1 review dig safe procedures. Do we have,
No, we postponed it till Dave does not have it ready at this point in time.
Fine.
So,
right. table it?
All right. 3.2. Interest refund of 75 cents for account number 5280. Says interest was applied after his online payment was not received on time. It was mailed on 4/20 from DCU. Payment file indicated 5/10/20. So Dave, does this mean he said he mailed it on 4/20, but DCU actually shows it was mailed on 5/10?
I think there was something that it got lost and they had to reissue it. But it's 75 cents. It's of interest that I believe it's not his fault. And he's never late.
Sounds.
Yeah,
Nate,
that's
what
what,
do you
if I may speak, yeah, that's what happened. He did mail it. And he mailed it on 4/20. I saw he brought it in and I had seen it that he had mailed it, because I meant to take the copy of it, but he didn't want to give it to me because it had his information on it.
Yeah, no.
And then he said he'd get it to me and he didn't in time for the meeting. So, but I did see it. But we didn't receive the payment file until 5/10 to process the payment. So we ended up getting like a bunch of interest on it. So, and then of course he didn't know about it. And so interest kept accumulating.
I'm okay with that. I was just trying to understand the note on
So-
it, but
All that interest accumulated to 75 cents?
Yes. Yeah, you see that on the second page. The second page shows the 75 cents for the two, 4:30 and to 7.
Here, Todd's
One.
okay with it. I move that we abate account number 5280 in the amount of 75 cents.
second. Motion's been made and seconded. Think a vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madela, aye.
3.3, review and discuss Timberley Park water quality issues. Dave?
All right. So as you know, we've been getting, when I say we're getting a few calls, I'm talking between maybe 150 to 200 in the last 2 months. and we got in letters and of course it's on Facebook. Unfortunately, when we lost Harbor Trace and the two Witchesbrook wells have been overworked. I try to mitigate everything by cleaning Witchesbrook 2, which at the time was the one that needed the most attention, in February. So that was cleaned and all the mechanics inside the well have been replaced. Well, running them all the time, it just created a disaster inside that development because they're not made to work that hard. So the next thing we did is we cleaned the two tanks, and we can't flush because we didn't have enough water. Because if I flushed, I would lose people in the upper elevations of the town. So there's not enough water to flush. We were just maintaining. So our only choice was to get Main Street online. Main Street went online the 26th of July. We would have been ramping it up slowly. We're up to 400 gallons a minute. One of the things I want to see if you can do is to declare Witchesbrook 1 as an emergency. What happened is now that we have Main Street up to a certain point, we're not running those two wells constantly. And every time I put Witchesbrook 1 online, the next day I get dirty water calls or discolored water. And so I shut it down on Monday, and I'm hoping it helps a little bit, but I have the well out until it gets clean. It gets cleaned. And seeing what there's been no maintenance on either one of those wells on record. Not at least the last 20 years. There's been no maintenance on either one of the wells till this last year. Seeing the condition of the well for Witchesbrook 2, the impellers on both the wells were 50% eaten away. The shaft was also partially eaten away. And the screens were clogged to a point where very little water could get through. I'm sure that the same thing I saw in 2 will be happening at 1. And I'd like to see if you can vote to have me clean it.
By having it declared an emergency, that means we get to bypass putting it out to bid and all that, Dave?
Correct, but I still have to do my best. But we put Witchesbrook 2 out to bid. It'll allow me to use those bids because
Okay.
it's the same exact thing, and I just have to file it to state.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, sir.
David, you want to clean them. What is entailed? Or is that, you're saying
so
it's
the-
going out to bid? Is that for,
No, it's not going out to bid.
No, by declaring an
We're gonna do
emergency.
it.
Yes. That's what he said. So if we declare it an emergency, he can use the previous bids from Witchesbrook 2 as his best effort or best comparison to get the work done as quickly as possible. I don't,
So- what stops him and the crew from just doing it?
We
we
can't do
don't, no, it's not something you can do in-house. They actually, you have to have a device come in and pull the well up and out. You have to
Okay.
look at the pump. Then so that if this gets heard later, what they do is they'll pull the pump. In the bottom is for lack of a better term, a stack of gravel that's enclosed in a screen. What they can do is they pump usually muriatic acid, which is a light acid. And what it'll do is it'll get rid of everything clogging the screen and the gravel at the bottom where the water gets pulled in from. They go back and they rework the pump. Dave's pictures from back when they pulled Witchesbrook 2, the only impeller that looked completely or somewhat intact was the final one. All the rest of them were absolutely down to the nub. Just like Dave said, the shaft was cracked. So getting that Witches Brook 2 done, or 1 done, in the same fashion, given the water qualities he's seeing, he's probably expecting the same sort of thing. Dave, who did Witches Brook 2?
Sullivan. They were like $4,000 or $5,000 under the nearest bidder.
Okay. There
They
aren't
came
many,
in 6, I think.
there's only 2, how many, I think there's only what, 4 firms that do it locally, New England?
There's 3.
Okay. It actually, they have to have the crane big enough to reach up and over and pull it out.
Sullivan said between 1 and 2 weeks to have it done.
Okay.
So it's a
Yeah.
good time.
Do you have the money to do it?
Yes, because I put extra money in the emergency fund.
Well, we need the water. We need the capacity.
And we need to,
Road
Take-
is
water.
Say again?
and I also need to take drinking water.
I understand that. Would you say, Nate?
I said, yeah, if the drought isn't helping this, I'm just trying to make sure that, we're not throwing the word emergency around when it doesn't need to be. And if I have water professionals to the right and left of me, in my point of view, that are saying that this is appropriate. Well, I mean, hey, you got the number of citizens that are beyond
Yeah.
themselves. That I would say,
We've
yeah,
reached that point. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So do I have a motion?
Uh,
Do you want me to make it? I can
didn't
make
even
it.
know what to say.
All right. I make a motion that we declare the repair and refurbishment of Witches Brook 1 to be a water emergency and to procure services under that status.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madela, aye.
Motion's been made and passed. Dave, get that well cleaned. Get it done.
Yep.
The other thing too is, he had mentioned earlier, before you got on with us. And Dave, I don't want to steal your thunder. Once you get that up and cleaned, we will have and
We're going to flush.
Main Street will get up to full capacity. He's been doing a good job. They didn't want to, it can ramp up to 500 gallons a minute, and they've been bringing it up slowly, so they didn't jam the system up. You said what, 500 gallons a minute plus with Witches Brook 1 and 2, you'll have capacity to flush Timberley Park?
Even the drought will have more than enough water, because the water table at Main Street is between 7 and 8 feet down, even in the drought. So there's plenty of water at Main Street, and it's not going down.
All right. So Nate, that's about the only way I know how to finish clearing this out. So hopefully this will get us to where we need to be. You got any more questions on this one, Nate?
No,
Okay.
no. Hopefully, it takes some of the strain off and clears up some of the water.
I hope so. It gives me a headache worrying about it.
Oh, yeah, and listen, nobody in this industry wants to have the problems that we've had. I don't think you could set up a greater set of calamities between no superintendent to a pandemic to PFAS and then a drought. I mean, 4.1, Commissioners' updates and reports.
Todd?
Yes, ma'am. Andrea Wood, I recognize you.
Yes, thank you. Do you have an approximate cost for the cleaning of the well?
Dave?
About $13,000. And if they find anything else, the last for the parts were $8,000 if the parts are bad.
Okay, thank you.
All right. With that being said, I don't have anything. Do you have anything you want to bring up, Nate? Or report or
currently.
anything?
No,
Okay.
not currently.
5.1, liaison update and reports. Mr. Sexton Durazian.
I don't.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to 6.1. Update and discuss Main Street well. Dave?
So- Main Street was turned on the 26th of July, and we ramped it up. We started at 250 right off the bat, which matched what was going on before. Now we're up to 400, and we're gonna be ramping it up over the next week or two to about 500, and by that time we should be able to flush. We've already replanted what the state asked me to replant. We had our summer help doing that. So, and the good thing about getting it done when we did, when one of the wellheads collapsed last week. So
Time
there was,
out. What, when you say wellheads, are you talking
the 52 wellheads.
the
For the old
tubular
main-
well field? The tubular well field. All right.
Remember-
Let's be a little bit more specific. So one of
Remember I
the,
told you we were getting air into the system?
yeah.
Well, I found the one that was getting air into the system because the ground collapsed around the wellhead.
Did you take a picture?
No, I buried it for safety.
Well, like what would that look like? Because for someone that doesn't understand,
Sinkhole
just a depression in the ground.
Yeah.
around the wellhead.
How deep?
This one was about 6 feet deep.
Yep, that's a hole.
And, we knew it was on its last legs. Well, its last legs were this summer.
So
we
it
got-
was drawing air from that point. Water was leaking at that point and undermining.
Correct.
underneath What we saw on the surface.
We were also getting, when we had an interim, Rebecca McEnroe, we were getting air and sand. They had to put in a sand filter at one point at the Main Street site. And that's, you start pulling in the sand in and around those tubular well fields, and that's what you end up getting. So, Dave, speaking of the tubular well field, now that Main Street's back online, what's the time frame they gave you to decommission the tubular well field?
Already done.
All right. Thank you.
I had the kids help me do it. And we had the whole crew, the kids and the whole crew. We spent a day and we did commission everything.
Okay.
And the electrician de-electrified the pump.
Okay.
So over the winter, we'll see what we can do with salvaging the parts. There's we can't use them in our system, but maybe we can get some money out of
How old are they, Dave?
the VFD. There might be a town that wants one because it takes a year to get a VFD in.
Yeah.
So-
It's 6 months to a year to get a VFD is a variable speed drive. It's what you use to control the speed or the strength of the pump.
And then we'll have two in that building that
All right.
we'll disconnect and we'll put out to
All right.
to see if anyone wants one.
All right.
And they're fairly new. They're within 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. Is that it on 6.1, Dave?
Yep. So
6.2.
really, I'm
Yep.
just waiting to be any day now. As soon as they're finished, Shepard's finished with Groton. He's going to get onto that. I've already did the walkthrough with the directional driller, and as soon as he's getting close, he's going to come and dig safe it, and we'll have that done probably by the mid-September, and we'll have the hydrants up and running for that main line, and then we'll do a connection. Now, anyone who's off of that will only be down less than an hour. the way I have it set up.
All right. The one that's really important is Gary's. I mean, all the homes there, the downtime on them is important, but
Right.
where they rely on the water for, yes, Nate.
And those they've all been notified beforehand.
Yep.
Like they're
But
aware of this.
Gary myself, and I've been, Gary from, not Gary Shepherd, but Gary Wilkins, that I've been in contact with him and been keeping him updated.
Okay.
So the next thing is PFOS. We're still, really, there's not much of a change with everything, except the EPA is creating new standards. But
Well, they're guidelines. Let's not call them standards
well,
because they're not
of course,
enforceable.
that when DEP accepts everything, but right now there's nothing new for PFAS. We just still the one well.
What were your last numbers out of Witch's Brook, by the way?
7.9.
All right.
So but we've been running it for testing. We've been running Harbor Trace.
Yep.
That's been helping keeping it down.
Yeah, it's basically an interceptor well at this point.
Correct. And we still have UMass out there doing testing.
All right.
So they're not there every day, but we run it to help them out. The next one is Harbor Trace. We're racing to the 75%, which everything you have the timeline, but if
Yep.
you look, I gave you the plans of the building itself,
Mm-hmm.
the plan and how it's going to look. So
Do you have it stamped yet by,
we're not 75% done yet.
all
They're,
right.
they're still working out all the little things.
Can you, for the next meeting, get us their draft of what the plant's gonna look like?
That is the draft.
Okay.
It's in the pack.
Place is huge, huh?
Yeah, I didn't see it. Hold on.
I got side views, top view, the plan itself. There's a whole set of drawings.
Oh, I missed one that was added. Nope.
It was in that pack.
There it is. It didn't print out for me. Huh.
So that's everything.
Dave, do you know if they've looked at the Aquavets?
What?
The filter vessels, the Aquavet, I think is the name of the company, the shorter ones.
They have, but there's nothing we can do right now. The state revolving fund does not release any money whatsoever until you do 75% and apply
Yeah.
for the.
All
And
right.
so that's the next deadline, the 13th of October. We have to have the plans done for 75%,
Yep.
apply for the loan,
Yep.
and then it takes about 2 to 3 months for the state revolving fund to look over the drawings and release the money.
Then we put it out to bid after that, correct?
In January, the bidding process starts.
Okay. Nate,
Two things. I would like to see, as you may know, I have an electrical background.
Yes,
So I would like to see the spec sheet going out to bid for the particulars for the electrical of this to trim unnecessary fat and streamline. Because I know a lot of architects, not saying anything about this architect, but a lot of architects will say, "Oh, we want this brand of this," and a lot of times it's not the least expensive.
so what we'll do with that, right now, we're going to be at 75%. So when we get those drawings in, I will give you a copy of the set,
it's not so much the drawings, it's
Right, but-
it's the verbiage as to how and what specific products are going to be included. And
Right.
Some
I
of them
want to
are,
make sure that it's not just someone running up the bill.
Right. So, but like I said, whatever I get for 75%, I'll let you look at. And then from October to January, you have to get it to 100%.
I don't want to look at it. I want input. I
Right.
want board input.
Right. You'll have the input from the 75% to help it get to 100%.
Okay. And the second thing was labeled on here. I'm seeing a KOH tank. Are we switching back to potassium hydroxide?
It's sodium. It's
Yeah,
still sodium.
NaOH.
Right.
And then
yeah,
the other tank, I'm showing sodium
hypochlorite,
hypochlorite.
Right.
What is that?
Chlorine.
chlorine.
I don't like it.
I
Yeah.
don't have a choice.
Well,
We don't. We're under orders to chlorinate.
ugh,
Also, you need it for
A
the treatment
nightmare.
process.
nightmare.
Not really. It's not.
Nobody in this town wants their water chlorinated.
But it's right. But it's if DEP says you have to do it, you have to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
we could always just stop taking their money and just run a self-sufficient plant, maybe, and self-sufficient operation.
We don't take any of their money to do this. It's
They're just the authority.
correct. It has to deal with public health. They have primacy.
Listen, I don't know at what point in my life where I have to start saying no, like my grandmother used to.
This isn't one of them.
Well, I'm saying no, just not yelling it yet. I don't like it. Nobody wants their water chlorinated. Like I asked before, how many people have gotten sick because we don't chlorinate regularly? Probably nobody.
Actually, you don't know that because any
don't know, for sure.
intestinal. All I'm saying is the health and safety of the water. Almost every system in the Massachusetts will have to be chlorinated at some point, whether they want to or not.
This goes kind of along with wastewater and meds being flushed to create hyper resistant strains of this and that.
They don't have the ability to treat that. It's a completely
No,
different.
that don't get mixed up with what I'm saying, but it's this is
Well, no,
not
we're adding
biochemist, but-
we're adding chlorine so that you don't have bacteriological issues. It's all about risk management. I don't know of legally, if we have a consent order, you have no options. You really don't. Not with DEP.
Well,
I'm just doing what I think my constituency would want me to say, and what they would want me to say is they don't want chlorine in their water. So that's what I'm saying.
right.
So-
I know we got to listen to DEP because they're the authority.
Correct.
Mm.
And the fact that we won't get a dime if we don't put
I mean, we.
in the building.
I thought we didn't take money.
Well, no. Well, the SRF is, but here's the thing: is they have final approval of the plant, or your ability to operate the wells in general. They're the ones who give you the okay. They're the ones who give us the registered volume and the permitted volume out of the Water Management Act. They are the ones that hold the
Okay,
legal sig.
I get it. We don't need to go through all the particulars.
I just
said my piece. You get it. If there
Yeah, I
was a
got it.
way, if there's any way, please let's.
no. If there
Nobody
was,
wants
no,
their water chlorinated.
Right. So the good thing is nothing gets chlorinated until everything is done. Every well.
so
So it's not the only one that has chlorine capabilities. It actually is none of the wells. So
all right. You got anything else on the treatment plant, Dave?
no. Wait, well, I gave you the timeline.
Yeah.
So the timeline was, at the end, was flexible because it's all built, because who knows when any materials come in. So they left pretty much a number that was long, but it shouldn't take that long. It should take half that time. So when you see the timeline, that last section has been left long to incorporate things like vessels and steel, and if anything comes in late, because it's better to come out with a date that's longer than,
Yeah.
and then come in shorter.
No, I know, because then, you know, it's standard practice to give an allowance for that sort of stuff, especially
Right.
given the problems getting steel.
Right.
All right. 6.5, 12
I'm sorry,
South
real
Street.
quick,
Yes, sir.
Chairman. On 6 point, on the Harbor Trace, 6.4.
Yep.
You said, am I supposed to have a timeline here? Because I
Yeah.
only have drawings, and then we go right to 7.2.
I got it. And
Brenda sent this afternoon.
Yes, we just got it this afternoon.
Oh,
Nathan,
okay,
from
okay.
the-
No, I did see that. I was
I
like, oh,
sent it
wait,
as
I
a
thought that was
separate
the
thing this
agenda.
afternoon.
Okay, all right.
Guys-
Also, one last question on this drawing, and I'm sorry. I'm showing an orientation, but which way is this building oriented in relation to north?
North is straight up.
So this building is shown from the first drawing, which is, oh, these aren't even numbered. It doesn't even say what this drawing is. It's just,
The main entrance is to the south, which will be, and that's where the driveway is currently.
main entrance that opens to the vestibule. The vest.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. All right.
You got
That's
better than
south.
eyes do, because I can't see it.
Oh, you can zoom in on these things.
Yeah, I can't on this one for
It
some
says-
reason.
See,
Yeah, it's
and has
hard.
floor.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. I just wanted to, because it flips it around in a couple of the drawings.
Right. So
All right.
Yeah, they're not all,
it's built so when you come down the driveway, you see the shortest part of the building,
Uh-huh.
and then the tallest part where the vessels are nearest to the well. It's built like that because you're looking downhill, and it gives the illusion of it's a smaller building. Because that last half of the building is going to be about 37 feet tall.
Yep. It looks tall.
Because the vessels are, I think, 27 to 28 feet tall.
yeah. That's why I was kind of hoping we, you know, if we could get the shorter vessels, it would make the building less tall.
Right.
And it'd save us in cost on the building, but it'll also save us on
Heating.
operational cost, heating and then dehumidifying too.
Right. But there's not much we can do.
Not yet, until we get to the bidding process, and then we'll see what
Right.
happens.
That will be between the 75 and the 100%. All right, so 12 South Street, we're just waiting for the contractor to get the pipe, and they're going to put the 10-inch line into deluxe, and they'll probably end up doing in the road at night.
Do we have a date on that?
No, right now it's all dependent on pipe. They're trying to get 10-inch pipe, and finding pipe right now is hard.
This high density polyethylene.
No, ductile line.
Ductile.
It's private property. They can put in really what they want. If it was in the street, I'd make them do HDP, high density polyethylene pipe. But it's their property. If there's something goes wrong, we shut it off at the street.
All right, 6.6 day generators at Main Street and Cross Street.
They're trying to take care of Harbor Trace first, and then we'll put the generators out maybe in the fall or the same time period. But it's just taken a while to get the electrical people in line and where to get the generators from.
All right. 6.7, temporary help and co-op program.
Right. So Monty Tech has asked if we could do a co-op program with them during the school year. And I want to know if you would like to do that.
Dave, before we go into that, can you ask them if they've looked at the Innovative Pathways program?
What?
There's a high school program in Massachusetts called Innovative Pathways. It gives a really good template on how to set up something like this instead of just kind of flying by your pants. And I would.
Well,
Instead of-
it's not. You have to decide whether or not you want to accept there is a whole procedure to do it, but we can't do anything unless you want to do it or not. And we could do 2 days a week.
You know what, Dave? Nate, let me just say what I'm thinking, and then you can. I'll yield the floor to you. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'd like to see them come and present. If they're asking for us to do it, I'd like to have them come forward and tell us what they envision it as, what are the liabilities for us and for them, what's their curriculum, what's their goal on it. Just going off of something written on one line on a piece of paper, I need a little bit more.
Right, but
Nate?
I don't want to pursue this unless you are receptive to the idea.
Well, I'm receptive, but I'm not going to give any guarantees or anything like that until they come and talk to us. Dave, hold it. Nate, I yield the floor to you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Todd. I like the idea on the face. I like it. I went through a co-op program and I worked for the company for about 16 years. It was a great opportunity. I don't know about the whole 2 days a week thing because generally these co-op programs, they want you to take the kids for a week. I don't know what volume you're ready to take on, but it would probably be like a couple kids.
Right, it would be 2 kids, 2 days a week, because I can't afford any more than that because it's not in the budget.
And you get a tax write-off,
And we get a tax rate. Well,
I think.
there's some bad.
We're a non-tax entity. I don't know
Oh.
about that.
They have a whole package, and you can, we'll put that in the next meeting minute.
Yeah, make sure they're here, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a bunch of papers. I want someone,
Right,
you
but
know,
for this, unless you two are receptive to it.
I'm receptive. I mean, our industry is looking like most industries at about a 50% retirement, if not more, in the next 6 years. And there's nobody in the pipeline. So anything we can do to help ourselves or the industry in general by showing this profession out there, I got no problem with. But, just a one line isn't going to do it for me. I need a little bit more depth. I want to see.
Right, but I just want you to decide that you want to pursue it. That's it.
I say yes.
I say yes. Do we need to take a formal vote on that, Nate?
No, we need information.
All right.
But
I'm good
yeah,
with that.
I love the idea and I want
Me too.
information.
I mean, and the summer programs worked out pretty well. I mean, you've gotten some kids in, we've gotten local kids jobs for the summer. We've gotten some people their feet wet, so to speak, hopefully not literally. But as long as I get some more information, and something we can turn over also to town council, because liability on this, I need to know, we're going to need to know who stands behind what, and they're probably going to need to review it. So we need some meat on the bones before we make anything formal. You got anything else, Nate?
Yeah, with all the logistics of the, I mean, this, I think it goes without saying, the information, what they're looking at doing, what's expected in the curriculum would give their duties and tasks and make sure we can get insured for this.
Right.
Or if their insurance, because that's,
Yeah,
see,
right.
that's the thing. So Innovative Pathways is something similar to this. They're doing it with life sciences. They're doing it with business administration and a couple other things. And it covers the program covers the liability of them coming in when the interns come into your shop. So that's one of the reasons why I mentioned that. And you might even mention it to them, Dave, that they look at that. But most of these technical high schools have co-op programs, so I'm going to assume they understand the liability issues. Is that true, Nate, you think?
The co-op
101?
programs are familiar with this. This seems like a newer program because they didn't have anything like this, at least not in Ashoba. And-
No,
Neshoba doesn't have one.
no,
Right.
I've tried to build one now. I'm on the Neshoba's curriculum committee. Essex has one. Essex, is it Essex Aggie?
That's just, that's on, that's,
They have a co-op program or did have a co-op program for water operators. So it is out there. It's something new for them. Like we said, we need to see a lot more meat on the bones before I can make any sort of.
right. There's a lot of, this opens up, when we have someone from their school come on. But like I said, I want to make sure that you two are receptive before I get all people involved in this.
Yep.
And
Dave, I think we both said we're for it. So
yep.
get
So we're good.
to work, line them up, have them for the next meeting.
And I'm done.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Madela.
I move that we schedule next BOWC meeting, review and sign July end of month report and sign bills payable report warrants out of session.
Second, and I like how you condensed all those, my friend. Motion's been made and seconded. I'll take a roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madela, aye.
Motion
Mr.
is
Chairman?
passed. Mr. Madela.
I move for that we adjourn the meeting.
Nope. You never scheduled the meeting.
Well, we can, it's out of session.
We can schedule it out of session when we have.
All right. You're well set.
I move that we adjourn the meeting, the Water Commissioners meeting here at Zoom and 540 Main Street here on the 15th. August.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Todd Melanson, aye.
Nathan Madela, aye.
Motion is made and carried. Our meeting is closed. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Andrea, thank you very much for attending.